My grandmother accidentally exposed my husband's affair with my sister, thinking I already knew, and that one innocent slip shattered everything. My name is Emma Caldwell, I'm 31, and I've lived in Asheville, North Carolina my whole life. It's the kind of place where people smile at you in the grocery store and where family comes first isn't just a phrase, it's a religion. I grew up believing in that. I built my life around it. I have a small art studio downtown, where I teach painting classes and sell custom portraits. It's not a gold mine, but it's mine. I married my husband, Jason Caldwell, when I was 26. He's 33 now. A marketing consultant who works from home, or so I thought. And then there's my younger sister, Lily, 28, bubbly, magnetic, the kind of girl who lights up a room and knows it. We were at Grandma Edna's house for her Sunday lunch tradition, a weekly ritual ever since my mom passed away 7 years ago. Grandma Edna is 78, sharp as a tack when she wants to be. Delightfully unfiltered, and still insists on using her floral china even if we're just eating fried chicken and mashed potatoes. This Sunday was like any other, until it wasn't. There were 10 of us around the table, packed elbow to elbow. Jason was on my right, Lily on my left. I had just passed the gravy boat to my cousin Hannah when Grandma clinked her glass with a spoon and grinned. "You know," she began. "I always thought it was so cute when Jason and Lily would sneak off for their little secret dates last year." She laughed. A soft, fond chuckle, like she was sharing some quaint little family story. I blinked. I heard her wrong. I must have. Jason's hand froze midair, hovering over the green beans. Lily went still. Not a muscle moved in her face. I turned slowly, my heart thudding. "I'm sorry?" I asked, smiling like this was a joke I didn't get yet. Grandma looked confused. "You know, when you were doing those late shifts at the studio. Jason and Lily would take the car and go off together. What did you call them, Lily?" "Your therapy dates." Lily let out a weak laugh. "Oh, Nana, that was just a silly name. You know how we joke." Jason nodded too quickly. "Yeah, we'd just go get food sometimes. Emma, you remember, when you were exhausted and told us to go have fun." Except I didn't remember. Not even a little. I felt like the floor had tilted underneath me. I scanned the table. A few family members looked away, awkward. Others didn't seem to notice anything strange. They weren't married to Jason. They didn't know how he used to barely tolerate Lily's endless stories, how he once called her high maintenance in a cute way, but still exhausting. But now they had therapy dates. I smiled, tight-lipped, frozen. Right. Those. I didn't speak for the rest of the lunch. I couldn't taste the pie. Couldn't focus on Grandma's stories about the time she met Johnny Cash. My mind was spiraling, replaying every moment from the past year that now pulsed with a strange new energy. Jason helping Lily set up her online store. Even though he always told me he hated family tech favors. Lily staying over during the week, saying she missed the noise of people in her apartment. Jason defending her when she made snarky jokes about my art being cute and safe. I used to think they were bonding. I used to be happy they got along. That night, in bed, Jason slid in next to me like nothing happened. I kept my back to him. I couldn't look at him without hearing Grandma's voice. Little secret dates. He reached for me. I flinched. "What's wrong?" he asked, voice soft. I waited a second too long before answering. "Nothing. Just tired." He kissed my shoulder and settled in. Within minutes, he was snoring softly. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling fan spinning above us, feeling like it was slicing through every memory I had. Was I imagining this? Was Grandma just confused? But Jason's face, God. The way it changed for a split second after she spoke, it wasn't confusion. It was panic. The next morning, I texted Lily, "Hey. Random question. Do you remember what you and Jason used to do during my studio nights last fall?" She didn't reply for 4 hours. When she did, it was casual. "Lily, haha, what? Just hung out. Got tacos." Why? Why? That word hit harder than I expected. Why? Because Grandma just casually hinted you were dating my husband while I was neck deep in commissions and too trusting to notice. I didn't reply. I just stared at the message. That night, I poured a glass of wine, sat at my desk, and started digging. Old calendars. Shared iCloud albums. My own journal entries from last year. I had written, "Jason says he's working late. Lily offered to drop off food. I'm lucky they're close." Lucky. God, I was so stupid. That was the first time I wondered if they'd slept together. The thought made me nauseous. But it also made something else rise inside me, an anger I hadn't felt in years. A sharp, cold, focused kind of fury. I didn't want to confront either of them. Not yet. I wanted to be sure. Because if I was going to burn down the fantasy of my marriage, I wanted to make damn sure I had the right matches in hand. The next morning, I woke up before Jason and slipped out of bed quietly. His arm reached out, expecting me there, and I watched it fall onto the empty space. Part of me wanted to crawl back into the warmth and pretend everything was fine. But I wasn't that woman anymore. I brewed coffee like a robot, the scent doing nothing to ease the pit in my stomach. My mind was already spinning. I didn't sleep much last night, not because of nightmares, but because I was piecing together a timeline. Jason and Lily. My late nights. Their so-called hangouts. I needed facts. Proof. I wasn't going to confront them on gut instinct alone. I wanted them cornered, trapped, unable to lie. I opened my laptop at the kitchen table. Jason's footsteps creaked above. Then silence. He always slept late on Mondays. It gave me at least 2 hours. I logged into our shared calendar first. Jason had started using it more when he started freelancing full-time. It was supposed to keep our schedules in sync. Funny how easily sync turns into surveillance. I scrolled back to last October. I had picked up extra classes to help pay for renovations in the studio. I worked late 3 nights a week. Jason had logged client meeting at the Hollow Bean Cafe every Wednesday at 7 p.m. for nearly 3 months. I remembered thinking it was cute that he had a spot. He said the owner gave him free refills. I cross-checked those Wednesdays with Lily's Instagram. She didn't post anything obvious, but her stories were still archived. Most of them were just selfies, food shots, coffee cups. But I noticed something strange. She tagged the location, Hollow Bean, 6 times between September and November. Once on the exact same Wednesday Jason had logged his meeting. Coincidence? Maybe. But when I clicked the post, the coffee mug had a little heart drawn in the foam. In the background, blurry but unmistakable, was the outline of a man in a black coat. Jason's black coat. I zoomed in until the pixels broke apart. Still, I knew that damn coat. I sat back and exhaled sharply. Okay. So they were together that night. Maybe it was innocent. But what about all the other meetings? I checked more dates. More overlaps. A pattern emerged like bruises under the skin, easy to miss at first, impossible to ignore once you see them. I opened our joint credit card account. Jason was always the one who handled the bills. I trusted him. Why wouldn't I? But now. I scrolled through the statements, looking for Wednesdays. October 11th, $83.50 at Casa Lumi, an upscale Italian place we only went to for anniversaries. October 18th, $47.90 at Moonlight Diner. October 25th, $115 at Hotel Vireo. That stopped me cold. A hotel. I clicked the charge. 7:43 p.m. The same night he said he had a meeting at Hollow Bean. Lily's story that night? A mirror selfie in a dimly lit hallway. Caption, all dressed up but nowhere to go kiss mark. I suddenly felt sick. I closed the laptop and walked into the bathroom. Splashing cold water on my face. They lied. They were meeting. Repeatedly. And at least once, at a hotel. I didn't need to know more to know enough. But I wanted to know more. I wanted the whole ugly truth wrapped up with a bow. If they were going to destroy my life, I wanted to at least hold the pieces in my hands. That night, I told Jason I had a migraine and needed to go to bed early. He kissed my forehead like I was fragile. His lips felt like ice. I waited until he was in his office, earbuds in, gaming with his friends. He did that most nights around 9. It was the perfect cover for everything he was hiding. I grabbed his phone off the kitchen counter and took it into the bathroom. His passcode hadn't changed. Still our anniversary. Of course. I opened his messages. Nothing under Lily. But I knew better. I typed in L. A contact popped up, Laney Crescent Moon. My stomach twisted. I opened the thread. L. I still think about that night. You remember the hotel soap smelled like vanilla? J. God, yes. That and your skin. I couldn't think straight for days. L. She has no idea. Still. Can you believe it? J. She trusts us too much. L. That's on her. I nearly dropped the phone. There it was. No more suspicion. No more confusion. They were sleeping together. Laughing about it. Romanticizing it. Erasing me like I was a side note in my own marriage. And calling me naive for trusting them. I didn't cry. Not yet. My hands trembled, but my mind was sharp, crystal sharp. Like broken glass. I took screenshots. Sent them to myself. Deleted the sent email from his outbox. I returned the phone, made sure nothing looked out of place. When I climbed back into bed, Jason was already asleep. He looked peaceful. How do you lie so calmly? How do you hold someone every night after sharing a bed with their sister? I stared at the ceiling for hours, planning. The next morning, I called my friend Marcy and told her everything. She offered to come over, ready to throw a drink in someone's face. I told her not yet. I want to catch them in real time. I whispered. Not just texts. Not just receipts. I want to see it. You sure you can handle that? She asked, gently. No, I said honestly. But I need to. By the end of the week. I'd bought a discreet nanny cam shaped like a picture frame. I placed it on the bookshelf in our living room, facing the couch, where Jason always sat when Lily dropped by to talk. I told them I had a 3-day art retreat in Charlotte. Jason kissed me goodbye at the door. Love you, he said. I smiled. I know. Then I walked away. And left the camera rolling. I drove to Charlotte that Friday afternoon, but I didn't go to any art retreat. I checked into a small Airbnb on the edge of town, cozy, quiet, safe. I turned off my phone for 2 hours just to breathe. I needed distance, both physical and emotional. I needed the calm before the storm. By 8 p.m., my curiosity ate through my resolve. I powered on my phone and opened the Nanny Cam app. The live feed loaded with a stutter, then smoothed out. My heart was pounding so loudly I could barely hear. The living room appeared as expected, still, quiet. Jason's coat was draped over the arm of the couch. The lights were on. He was home. At 8:14 p.m., Lily walked in. I felt like I'd been punched in the chest. She wasn't even pretending to knock. She used her spare key, the one I gave her when her apartment had that plumbing issue last year. She wore high heels, dark jeans, and a fitted sweater I'd once complimented her on. Jason emerged from the hallway, smiling. Smiling. That wide, dimpled grin he used to reserve for me. They hugged. A little too long. He said something I couldn't hear, and she laughed, threw her head back and laughed, like they were in on the most delicious secret. I wanted to vomit. They sat down. Lily curled her legs up on the couch like she owned the place. Jason opened a bottle of wine. I recognized it. One of the expensive ones we'd been saving for our anniversary next month. Next month. I nearly laughed. God, the audacity. As they drank, the casual touches started. Her hand on his knee. His arm behind her shoulders. Her head eventually leaning into his chest. He kissed her forehead. Then, without hesitation, they kissed. Fully. Slowly. The kind of kiss that says this isn't new. This is familiar. I watched in stunned silence as Jason slid his hand up under her sweater. She giggled and swatted him away, then whispered something. I saw her mouth form the words, not on the couch. She'll know. Too late, Lily. I knew. The live feed cut for a moment, connection drop. I held my breath until it resumed again. They had moved out of frame. But the silence said everything. I closed the app. My hands were cold, trembling, but my mind was eerily calm. Numb. I had confirmation. And worse, I had watched it happen in the space I built. On the couch where we watched movies. In the home I paid half for. Under the roof I thought protected my marriage. My husband. My sister. I cried then, not loud, not messy. Just quiet tears that slipped down my face, like my body needed to drain the disbelief out of me. I didn't sleep much that night. Instead, I started planning my finale. The next morning, I downloaded the footage and backed it up to 3 different drives. One for safekeeping. One for my lawyer. One for me. I stared at the paused image of them kissing. It was surreal how normal they looked. Like a couple in a Hallmark movie. Comfortable. Intimate. In love. It wasn't some one-time drunken mistake. It was a relationship. They had built something behind my back. Lied to my face. Shared secrets, and laughs, and my damn wine. I thought about confronting them individually. But no, too easy. Too much room for denial, for damage control. No. They had broken me in the dark. I would shine a blinding light on them. I waited until Sunday, the next family dinner at Grandma Edna's. Everyone would be there. Jason and Lily, of course. My cousins. My aunt and uncle. Even my dad, who usually only dropped in every other week. I called Grandma ahead of time and asked if I could make a little announcement after lunch. "Are you pregnant?" she asked excitedly. I smiled. Not quite. She didn't need to know. Sunday came fast. I dressed carefully, black slacks, a fitted white blouse, nothing too emotional. I didn't want to look unhinged or fragile. I wanted to look like the version of myself they all forgot I could be, in control. Jason and Lily arrived together, which didn't surprise me anymore. They claimed she needed a ride. I watched their body language like a scientist. He opened her door. She brushed his arm. Their eyes locked too long when they thought no one was watching. But I was. Lunch went on like normal. Fried chicken, deviled eggs, sweet tea. Jason sat across from me, chewing like nothing had changed. Lily sat next to him, smiling at everyone. She laughed at my cousin's joke. Complimented Grandma's pie, and offered to do the dishes. They were good. Too good. But they were about to be very, very bad. When everyone finished eating, I stood up and tapped my glass lightly. Hey everyone. I just wanted to say something quickly. All eyes turned to me. Jason looked up, surprised. Lily froze with a fork halfway to her mouth. I've been working on a short video, I said. Voice steady. It's personal. But I think it's something we should all see. I pulled a small remote from my bag and clicked it. The TV behind Grandma's couch flickered on. The footage started. Silence. Then the living room appeared. Familiar. Warm. And then Lily walking in. Jason hugging her. Kissing her. Lily gasped. Jason stood up so fast his chair clattered to the ground. Emma. He said, voice shaking. What the hell is this? I didn't blink. Evidence. Gasps echoed through the room. My aunt dropped her wine glass. Grandma Edna covered her mouth. Lily was pale. Her lips moved but no sound came out. Jason turned to me, voice rising. You filmed us? Are you insane? No, I replied coldly. Just observant. You're invading privacy. You mean the privacy of my marriage? I cut him off, sharp. Of my home? The couch I paid for while you screwed my sister behind my back. No one breathed. Emma. Lily finally choked out. Please. We didn't mean to. Spare me, I snapped. I read your texts. I saw the receipts. I watched you open the wine we were saving for our anniversary. You meant it. Jason looked like a man sinking in quicksand. I turned to the room, voice calm but clear. I wanted you all to see who they really are. Not for pity. Just the truth. Grandma Edna was crying now. My dad looked ready to throw something. My uncle muttered, Jesus Christ. I looked at Jason one last time. I hope it was worth it. Then I picked up my purse and walked out. I didn't go home after I walked out of Grandma Edna's house. I didn't even get in my car right away. I stood in the driveway, hands shaking, heart pounding, trying to catch up with what I'd just done. I thought I'd feel victorious. I didn't. I felt hollow. Like I had just detonated a bomb and was now waiting to see what was left in the fallout. My phone started vibrating. Over and over. Jason, 12 missed calls. Lily, 7 missed calls. Dad, where are you? Marcy, holy shit. You actually did it. I turned off the phone. Let them panic. Let them squirm in the wreckage they created. I spent that night at Marcy's. She let me have her guest room, a glass of wine, and a silence so comfortable it let me breathe again. We didn't talk much. She just sat with me, watching bad reality TV while I curled up on her couch and stared at nothing. Do you want me to slash someone's tires? She offered at one point. I cracked a small smile. Not yet. The next morning. Everything felt heavier. More real. The adrenaline had burned out and now grief took its place like an unwelcome squatter in my chest. Jason had sent a long email. Of course he had. When words failed him in person, he always tried to rewrite the narrative with paragraphs. Emma. You didn't have to do it like that. You humiliated us. You didn't even give us a chance to explain or apologize. I stopped reading after that. Apologize? Now? You don't get to apologize after months of lies. Of betrayal. Of letting me sit next to Lily at dinner tables while she had your handprints on her skin. I forwarded the email to my lawyer. Then I blocked him. I returned home that afternoon to grab my essentials. I didn't expect Jason to be there. But he was. Standing in the kitchen like a lost child, his face pale and his hair unbrushed. The man I married had always been put together, smooth-talking, confident. This man looked like he'd been unraveling by the hour. "Emma," he said when I walked in. I didn't answer. I moved past him, heading straight to the bedroom. "I know you hate me," he called after me. "But can you just give me 5 minutes?" I stopped at the hallway. Turned slowly. 5 minutes to do what, Jason? Lie again? Spin some version of the truth where this all makes sense? He stepped forward. I screwed up. I know I did. But it wasn't just physical. I didn't plan to fall for her. The words echoed in the space between us. I laughed, sharp, bitter. Fall for her. My sister. He swallowed hard. "I didn't want to hurt you. But you did." Over and over. My voice cracked. "You came home to me. Slept in my bed. Kissed me. While telling her you loved her." His eyes filled with tears. "I thought we were growing apart. You were always at the studio, always tired. Always somewhere else. I was lonely." I stared at him in disbelief. "So you filled the silence with Lily?" He didn't answer. I nodded. "You know what hurts most, Jason? It's not the sex. It's that you looked me in the eyes every day and let me love you while knowing what you were doing." He tried to reach for me. I stepped back. "You don't get to touch me," I said, voice low. "You lost that right the first night you lied to my face." "I'll move out," he whispered. "I'll give you the house." I deserve nothing. "No," I said. "You'll stay. And I'll take my time. You don't get to leave and feel like a martyr." I packed a suitcase in silence. Grabbed my laptop, a few sketchbooks, and my favorite mug. He stood by the doorway the entire time, saying nothing. As I rolled my bag out, he whispered, "Do you still love me?" I didn't answer. Because I didn't know. 2 days later, I met Lily. She texted me from a different number. I ignored the first 5 messages. The 6th just said, "Please. Just one coffee. Please." I don't know why I said yes. Maybe I needed to see her face. Maybe I wanted to understand how she became this. We met at a coffee shop near the park we used to go to as kids. She was already there when I arrived. Wearing sunglasses indoors, hair tied up in a bun like she didn't want to be seen. "I ordered for you," she said, pushing a chai latte across the table. "It's still your favorite, right?" I didn't touch it. She took off her glasses. Her eyes were red, puffy. "I'm sorry." I said nothing. I know it doesn't fix anything. But I mean it. I hate myself for what I did. "You should," I said. Tears filled her eyes. "I didn't plan it, Em. It just happened. We were spending time together, talking, and..." "Don't," I interrupted. "Don't insult me with that cliché." She went quiet. "You had so many chances to stop it. You chose not to. You chose him." Repeatedly. "I didn't think you'd ever find out." That broke me. Not, I didn't want to hurt you. Not, I regretted it every day. No. She just didn't think I'd find out. I stood up. She reached for my hand. "Emma." I yanked it back. "You're dead to me." Then I walked out. It's been 3 months since that day. The divorce is moving forward. Lily moved out of town. I heard she's living with a friend in Atlanta. I don't care. Jason tried calling once more, on what would have been our anniversary. I let it ring. I deleted the voicemail without listening. I still cry sometimes. In the middle of painting. In the middle of driving. In the middle of folding laundry. But I also laugh more now. Not because things are funny. But because I survived. And surviving, I've learned, is its own kind of triumph. People ask me if I'll ever forgive them. Maybe one day. For me, not for them. But forget? Never. Some wounds don't heal with time. They just scar over. And that scar? It reminds me that I'll never be that trusting girl again. And that's okay. Because the woman I'm becoming? She doesn't need them. Not anymore.
Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking Reddit cheating stories happening around you.